Body to this demonstration. Shocking news. Robert Kennedy drops out of the presidential race. Now he endorses Donald Trump. Oh yeah, yes, you've heard it. Robert Kennedy is endorsing Donald Trump. Before I get started, let me read my disclaimer. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. What that means is that everything that you hear in this demonstration is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Everything that you hear in this video that I call a demonstration is only allegedly. It's my opinion and my perspective along with my subscribers. It's all opinions. It's all different perspectives. None of it is facts. Okay? Salute to my replay gang. I want my replay gang to know I appreciate you all. Salute to my moderators. Salute to everybody that's watching from the clouds. Salute to all of my new subscribers worldwide. Salute to you, him, and her. Salute to the whole Rock Squad. Salute Sages. Salute Sages. Salute Mel. I see you, Mel. Now, there's so much that's going on in the political world. This was just brought to my attention less than an hour ago. And a lot of you all that's in the chat have spoken about Kennedy, Robert Kennedy. You all have said, Shank, what about Kennedy? What about Robert Kennedy? He's definitely a good candidate that will make a great president. Now, look what then happened. Now, before I go deeper, salute positive vibes, salute positive vibes. What are y'all thoughts on this? What are y'all thoughts on this? From the Democrat side, recently we had Joe Biden to step down out of the election. Now, from the Republican side, we have Robert Kennedy, and he's endorsing Trump. What do y'all make out of this? What do y'all make out of this? Y'all know lately I've been talking about these policies. Also, what are y'all thoughts on the Medicaid policies? I done this demonstration a few days ago. What are y'all thoughts on the ACA policy? Affordable Care Act. Now, Mel says Robert Kennedy is insane as well. Now, we know that the Affordable Care Act, many was believing that that was actually Obama's care. No. That was Trump. And I will call a spade a spade. That was Trump twisting the narrative. That affordable care was already in motion. When Obama took office, of course, that was something that was already established and in motion that Obama started to push. So many of y'all that believe the Obamacare is something that Obama started, no, it's not. Salute Miss G. Salute Miss G. Appreciate you for pulling up. But we're gonna jump into Robert Kennedy. But keep in mind, in this demonstration, we're going to be discussing that ACA policy, the Affordable Care Act. We're going to be discussing that, as well as the Robert Kennedy, Kamala, and Trump policies, and Biden. But one of those policies is that Affordable Care Act. So let's go to Robert Kennedy. Mel says the Affordable Care Act and Obamacare is different. We're going to discuss all that, Mel. We're going to discuss all of that.
Mainstream outlets denied me a critical platform. They didn't shut down my ideas, which have especially flourished among young voters and independent voters, thanks to the alternative media. Many months ago, I promised the American people that I would withdraw from the race if I became a spoiler. A spoiler is someone who altered the outcome of the election but had no chance of winning. In my heart, I no longer believe that I have a realistic path to electoral victory in the face of this relentless, systematic censorship and media control. So I cannot in good conscience ask my staff and volunteers to keep working their long hours or ask my donors to keep giving when I cannot honestly tell them that I have a real path to the White House. Furthermore, our polling consistently showed that by staying on the ballot in the battleground states, I would likely hand the election over to the Democrats, with whom I disagree on the most existential issues: censorship, war, and chronic disease. Well, I want everyone to know that I am not terminating my campaign. I am simply suspending it and not ending it. My name will remain on the ballot in most states. If you live in a blue state, you can vote for me without harming or helping President Trump or Vice President Harris. In red states, the same will apply. I encourage you to vote for me. And if enough of you do vote for me, and neither of the major party candidates win 270 votes, which is quite possible, in fact, today our polling shows them tying at 269 to 269, and I could conceivably still end up in the White House in a contingent election. But in about 10 battleground states where my presence would be a spoiler, I'm going to remove my name, and I've already started that process and urge voters not to vote for me. It's with a sense of victory and not defeat that I'm suspending my campaign activities. Not only did we do the impossible by collecting 1 million signatures, we changed the national political conversation forever. Chronic disease, free speech, government corruption, breaking our addiction to war have moved to the center of politics. I can say to all who have worked so hard the last year and a half, thank you for a job well done. 3 great causes drove me to enter this race in the first place, primarily. And these are the principal causes that persuaded me to leave the Democratic Party and run as an independent. And now to throw my support.
What are y'all thoughts? He said that he promised himself before that he wasn't going to be a spoiler. I see someone calling him a traitor. Aloha Kitty is calling him a traitor. What are y'all thoughts? Do you think that he bowed out gracefully? I mean, you know, even though his name does come up, his name comes up over here. Even though his name does come up, I mean, let's be honest. Kamala, that's her name, Kamala. Her name is Kamala. All right. Kamala and Trump, those are the 2 names that's ringing right now. So as he stated, I mean, you know, if I'm in a race, if I'm in a fight, and, you know, if I see that, you know, it's other people that's, you know, way ahead of me, or even if they're not way ahead of me, if I see that I don't got no win in the fight, what I'm hanging around for? Myself, as long with my followers, there's 1,000,001 other things that we could be doing with our time. So that's what he mentioned. He said, you know, his workers, you know, it's like he putting them under all of this stress and working these long hours. And at the end of the day, you know, shit, we ain't going to win. You know, we ain't gonna win. I always say, you might can fool other people, but you can never fool yourself. And as long as you're honest about things, honesty to yourself, honesty when it comes to yourself will keep you out of a lot of trouble. It will keep you away from a lot of people if you're honest. So that's one thing that I will say, that he is being honest. How do y'all feel? Do y'all believe? Y'all let me know. Salute 80s, baby. Is it anybody? And if so, drop a 1. If it's anybody feels as though Robert Kennedy could have or would have beat Kamala or Trump in the presidential election, drop a 1 if you feel like Robert Kennedy was going to beat those two. As I stated before, he was the least one. Mel dropped a 2. I mean, and so why not bow out gracefully? Now, let's talk about the Democrats, okay? We're going to talk about the Democrats. Let's go back. I want us to go back in time. And y'all can help me understand this. If a Republican president is the one that, quote unquote, freed the slaves, why must black people be Democrats? Now, this is something that I've asked. I've asked on TikTok. I've asked on Facebook. I've asked on Instagram. I've asked in real time in the public. If blacks are supposed to be Democrats, or if blacks pull more to the Democrat Party, why didn't a Democrat president free the slaves? I'm just asking. I'm only asking. Can somebody help me understand that? Let me repeat the question again. If blacks pull towards the Democrat Party, if the majority of blacks belong to the Democratic Party, and it's been for years, this ain't nothing new. This has been way back since the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, even to this day. Why didn't a Democrat president free the slaves? Sadger says, question for the gods. Come on, Democrats, talk to me. Because you know the Republicans are going to start to weigh in on this question. But I want to hear from the Democrats. Mel says, Shank, blacks did not belong to no party. That's not what I said, Mel. That's not what I said. Let me backtrack, okay? And I don't want to offend nobody, but let me backtrack, okay? If a Republican president freed the slaves, that president was Abraham Lincoln. If a Republican president freed the slaves, why is it later on, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, the 80s, even to this present day, why is it that majority of blacks vote Democrat? Why is it the majority of blacks have a strong problem against the Republicans? Can somebody answer the question? Esther says, good question. Positive vibes got up the thinky emoji. I'm just trying to land the plane. Abraham Lincoln, which was a Republican, freed the slaves. Now, that's a fact. President Abraham was a Republican and he freed the slaves. Because, see, it would, to me, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, as far as build with me. It's up to you all. It would seem to me that the slaves, it would seem to me once they became free, and you know how we are always passing down traditions. Salute Aunt Esther, salute Jamie. We're always passing down traditions. Many traditions have been passed down through slavery. Listen to the question. I did not say start out. I did not say start out as Republicans. I said the 40s, the 50s. Remember, slavery was abolished 1865. I'm talking years later, and I said that. The 40s, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, even to this present time. Why is it that the majority of blacks vote Democrat? Why is it the majority of blacks vote Democrat and have a problem with Republicans? It was a Republican that freed us. Is it anybody that can answer that question? What happened was something went wrong. Something went wrong. And I'm just going to drop a little jewel because I want you all to do your own homework. I'm going to drop a jewel. Many knows, I believe the 9 out of 10 people, especially the black community as well as the white community, but the majority of the people knows when it's time for election, the Democrats target the black churches. Wait a minute. The Democrats target the black churches. To this day, the Democrats hasn't solved any of black people's issues. And this is why I say, for a president to be in office, what about black issues? Some say, Shank, what exactly is black issues? The Democrats know black issues. The Democrats come and campaign, and they've been doing this for years. They come to the black churches and they campaign. They get the black preachers. They get the black pastors. They get the black celebrities to pump Democrat, 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 Democrat. The Republicans do it too. I'm going to come back to the Republicans. Now, isn't it strange? When Kamala was the vice president, Biden, well, she's still the vice president, but isn't it strange when Kamala was the vice president and there were no mentioning of her running for president? Do you know how many of y'all, I'm saying you all in the chat, and I'm saying you all on the replay, gang, and I'm saying you all in general. Do you remember the kind of talk that was coming out of y'all mouth about Kamala? Oh, yeah, I remember. I said, golly. Now she's running for president against Trump, someone that you don't like. Now Kamala becomes the great black hope. We need to talk about that. Now let's go to the Republican side, because the Republicans do it too. The Republicans come to the black community as well. Let's look at both candidates. Kamala, Democrat, coming to the black community. Keep in mind, when asked about black issues, keep in mind what Kamala said. There will be no Pacific issues and agendas, for a group of people. That's what she said when asked. I just want you in the back. Yeah, you. I want you in the back to remember. Can you hear? Can you hear me? See? I watched, and I've been watching for 2 days. And I watched now they bring out the Central Park 5, right? Now they're bringing out, now see, what they're doing is, and this is what I said. This is what I said in the previous demonstration. I said, in this presidential election debate, I said, if Trump goes in there, and if Trump don't switch up his game, if Trump goes in there with the theatrics, if Trump goes in there and tries to roast, Trump is not going to win. I said that. Now, I said that Trump cannot try to play Kamala's game. I said Kamala cannot try to play Trump's game. Now, Kamala is feeding into Trump. So now what the Democrat Party is doing, they brought out the Obamas. They brought out Oprah Winfrey. They brought out the Central Park, one of the guys from the Central Park. So what they're doing is they're getting away from the policies. And this is what I was always having y'all to focus on, to zoom in on these policies. Because when I listen, and I'm just speaking for me as a voter, when I listen, I'm listening for the policies. Now, I'm a laugh, and I'm going to do all of this. But when it's all said and done, when I do my homework, I'm just listening, writing down, jotting down. What are the policies? Okay, that's the ACA that we'll get to. Just give me a minute. So now you have Kamala. Her strong point, salute Cotan. Her strong point is sticking with the policies. See, what they're doing now by bringing in these celebrities, by bringing in this person and that person, by bringing in people that in the past, see, we quick to want to let people, or we quick to want people to forgive us for our past, huh? But when it comes to other people being forgiven of what they done in the past, it's a different story. Now, why is it that what Kamala and the Democrat Party has done that maybe was illegal, bad, or ugly, why is it okay for us to forgive them and move forward? But now, speaking on the Republican Party, Donald Trump, why are we digging so far in this man's past? That's part of the bad, part of the ugly. You cannot judge this man for what he done in his past. You can't do that. But give me a minute. Give me a minute. Drop a D if you are a Democrat. Drop a R if you are a Republican. Drop a D if you are a Democrat, and drop a R if you are a Republican. And see, this is one of the things that I don't care too much coming from Trump. I don't. When he goes and, he gets into the theatrics, he start attacking Kamala and things of that nature. Okay, you done that. That's fine. You addressed it. That's fine. But let's get to the policies. Let's get to the core of why you should get my vote. See, Mel says he definitely told the American people that if they voted for Hillary, they would be putting a convicted felon in office. And you're right. And I seen that. And you're right. So those words of Trump came back to bite him in the you know what. And this is why I always tell people, be careful who you put your mouth on. Meaning, be careful what you say about people. Because he boldly spoke on Hillary being a convicted felony. Okay, you are a convicted felon. So what's the difference, Trump? And that's why, for me, that's why my standpoint on this, I love my standpoint because I'm not Democrat nor Republican. I'm not against Trump. I'm not for Trump. I'm not against Kamala. I'm not for her. But that enables me to call a spade when it comes to either one of them. See, and I'm not saying all, but most Republicans, you can't say nothing. You can't expose something that a Republican has done that was wrong. Because most Republicans are going to try to justify it. Vice versa. Most Democrats, they're going to try to justify it. Esther says everyone is saying the same about both sides. And that's facts. That's facts. The Democrats talking about the Republicans talk about the Democrats, and they just pretty much saying the same thing. They're just pointing out things from the other side has done that maybe been illegal or that may have seemed like something that's harsh. But at the end of the day, and this is what I learned from you all, Democrats and Republicans, conservatives and liberals, they all belong to the same bird, just different branches. That's what I learned. Thank you all for helping me understand. So y'all know that this ain't my thinking. I got this from you all. One bird. All belong to the same bird. Different branches, right? Yes or no? So now if you got the Democrats, if you got the conservatives, the liberals, the Republicans, they're all connected because they're all on the same bird. They belong to the same bird. What's the problem? You have a divided house. So now for the American people that never voted, this is why they never voted. This is why I never voted. Because I've been seeing the BS on both sides. On both sides. You had many Democrat presidents. You had many Republican presidents. The number one black issue in this country is reparations. The number two black issue in this country is discrimination. For those that want to know, well, Shank, what is black issues? What is black agendas? Those are 1 and 2. Reparations is owed to us. It was promised to us. It's been on the books for as long as we all can remember. Reparations. If reparations aren't owed to us, then where did they come up with it? Why, when you and I was little children, why was when you and I wasn't even born, why was reparations on the table? Huh? That's a black issue. Why do black people get discriminated? Why have black people been discriminated for as long as we can remember? Let's focus on the good black people. Huh? Let's focus on the hard-working black person that never broke a law, went to church, did everything that society says a citizen should do. What about that black man and woman when that black man and woman go and apply for a loan, a bank loan for a house? Huh? Oh, don't act like y'all don't know that black people has been getting discriminated. Good black folks, them good black folks got discriminated against when they went for bank loans. Huh? What about the black farmers that was cheated out of land? Huh? And you mean to tell me you don't know nothing about no black issues? You mean to tell me it's no such thing as black issues? Let me get you to come a little closer. Kamala, Kamala hasn't opened her mouth yet about the black farmers. See, we think it's only the black people that do wrong, right? What's the first thing they say when Breonna Taylor was slaughtered? I see you, Aunt Esther. Aunt Esther says, that's a damn shame. I heard of them stories. It's called redlining. But you want to know what's a black agenda? You want to know the redlining, right? I see you roasting me positive. Breonna Taylor didn't do no wrong. They went in there, and did y'all hear that 2 of the officers, the felony charges was dismissed? See, blacks being discriminated against is a black issue. The voice inside my head says every race has slaves. There were a lot of black men that owned slaves. And you know what? You're absolutely right. But guess what? The voice in my head. Guess what? Right now, we talking about the reparations that is owed to the former slaves. And I know what you're going to say. I know what a lot of y'all going to say. But Shane, you wasn't a slave and none of us was a slave. And I broke this down on numerous demonstrations. Reparations is considered a debt, D-E-B-T. Okay? Now in the court of law, what happens when a debt is owed? The debt don't never go away. But Shank, Mr. and Mrs. Graham, they died. So how they gonna collect the debt? The same way Michael Jackson estate, the same way Tupac's estate, the same way anybody that passed away, the money goes where? The money goes to the estate, or the money goes to their children. And we are the children of those former slaves. Not all of us, but that's when the census come in. C-E-N-S-U-S. That's when that come in. You take the census. And when you take the census, they're going to be able to determine where you come from. They're going to be able to determine the actual tribe. They're going, see, you can try to play this game all day long. The same people that pay the Jews. See, this is why the YouTube took me out of the algorithm, because when I get to dropping these jewels, I know what I'm talking about. I don't just come up with no crazy theories. I know what I'm talking about. I went from having 600 and 700 people in my chat, go check my numbers, to now 40, 45, because I was dropping jewels. Go and listen to the demonstrations. See, I can't do all of the homework for you. You get where I'm coming from? But let me just backtrack. The Jews of today, don't they get reparations? Don't they still, the government of the U.S., don't the government still pay out reparations to the Jews? Now keep in mind, the Holocaust didn't happen on American soil. The Holocaust happened in Germany, correct? But the Jews get reparations. And none of y'all that's challenging me, none of y'all open your mouth about the Jews because you're scared. You're scared. So don't talk to me about blacks not receiving reparations. Don't talk to me about, but black people had slaves. Don't talk to me about Shank. But if you give the black people money, they ain't gonna know what to do. Man, give us the goddamn money. Come up out the money. Now, you don't hear the Democrat side talking about reparations. You don't hear the Democrat side, even Obama. Obama never opened his mouth about reparations. Obama never opened his mouth about the demonstration. Obama never pushed none of those issues for black people. But what community was Obama pushing agendas for? LGBT community. Right? Affirmative action is not reparations. See? But I got a catalog of demonstrations. Just backtrack and go through my catalog. See? Let's listen to Trump for a few minutes, y'all, and then I'm going to come back.
It's an honor to be here at Precision Custom Components, a company that has helped to build and defend America for over 150 years. That's really an extraordinary achievement. I want to thank you, President Gary Butler, and members of the wonderful Butler family, members of Congress, Scott Perry and G.T. Thompson. You're here someplace in this very big factory, wherever you may be, there you are. Great people, great warriors, I will tell you. My trade representative, Ambassador Robert Lighthizer, who's fantastic at a thing called trade. We did very well at trade, and you were fantastic, and I want to thank you, Bob, very much. And Chair of the York County Commissioners, Julie Wheeler. Thank you, Julie, very much. Thank you. And a very special congratulations to all of the people of York County today who are celebrating the 275th anniversary of York County's founding. That's pretty good, huh? That beats most of them out there. But most of all, let me thank the exceptionally skilled and talented workers with us in this room. I know you well. I know them from all over the country. They come, and they are the most talented people and the most brilliant people in so many respects. So thank you all very much for being here. We appreciate it. Thank you.
I'm going to fast forward, y'all. I'm going to fast forward.
Really experienced before. The typical American household saw their incomes grow by more than $4,200 per year. Everyone was better off when you had a gentleman named President Donald J. Trump at the helm. Does anybody know him? Whoever he may be. I kept every single promise I made to the workers of Pennsylvania and to every other place within our country.
Now, let's be honest. Let's be honest. One of, and it's really only three, but let's be honest, y'all. if Trump wasn't an asshole, if he didn't, if you know what I mean, if he didn't come off like that, and if he wasn't an asshole, now let's be honest. Now let's be honest. Y'all would vote for Trump. Let's keep it 100, because when it comes to a leader, let's be honest. Let's cut through the steak. Do you really, and ask yourself, do you really want a woman in charge of this country? Now let's talk. Let's talk. Do you really want a woman in charge of this country? Do you really want a black woman? Oops, I forgot. Do you really want a mixed one? Oops, I forgot. Do you really want an Indian woman in charge of this company? Let's talk, man. I'm tired of playing with y'all. Let's talk. Is that what y'all really want? Deep down inside, you know that that's not what you want. Deep down inside, you know that you got a problem with a woman leading this country. You know you got a problem with it. Don't tell me otherwise. Don't tell me that you don't. Because if you tell me that you don't, you're lying. You're lying. The real ones is going to say, Shank, you're right. You're right about that. I don't want no woman leading this country. So ask yourself, you hate Trump that much. Esther says if she is emotionally unbalanced, no. If she's not doing anything for the black community, no. Whoop, there it is. There it is right there. There it is right there. We don't use profanity in the chat, Kitty. We don't use profanity down there in the chat. Garcia says leading this country to the dirt. I mean, come on. Let's cut through the steak. All right? Because I'm tired of playing with y'all. All right? It's some things that a man can do that a woman cannot do. It's some things that a woman can do that a man cannot do. Yes or no? Yes or no? It's just some things. Some things a man can't do. Some things I can't do. Some things that I have to get my woman to do because she is going to get that job done. Me, I can't do it. So let's cut through the bull. Let's cut through the BS. Y'all really want a woman leading this country? What's going to happen? What's going to happen when wartime comes? See, even though I pointed out one of the things that I didn't like about Obama, now I got to point out something that I did like about Obama. You knew not to, them other countries knew not to play with Obama. Yes or no? I don't care if you didn't like Obama. I don't care if you is a Trump supporter and you didn't like Obama. Even the Trump supporters can vouch and say, you right, Shank. Them other countries, they ain't played with Obama. And I don't want to hear nothing about it was somebody else behind the scenes that was calling the shots. You give Obama the credit that he gets, just like you give Trump the credit. Just like you give any of them presidents the credit that they deserve. Obama held his own. When it came time for war, yes or no? I see you, Candace. Salute, Candace. The voice in my head says he forced people to have health insurance and find people who didn't. That was messed up. Okay, that's another demonstration. That's another subject. But they knew not to play with Obama. See, this is what I'm saying. Now, let's fast forward. Biden looks weak. Sorry, Democrats, but Biden looked it weak. I see you, Michelle. What job is she incapable of doing exactly? When it's time for war, do you really want a woman leading the charge? Don't you know that those other countries are waiting? Don't you know that they waiting for one false move on the part of America and they coming? They coming. Is that what you want? Is that what you want? Or would you like somebody like Obama, even Bush, even the son? Now, the son was crazy, allegedly. But the son, George Bush, allegedly was crazy. But them other countries knew not to play with him. Didn't he run Saddam Hussein into a damn foxhole, a rat hole? Didn't the son and the UN told Bush, leave Saddam Hussein alone. Don't go over there. Didn't he send them troops over there? Candace says, don't underestimate the power of a woman. The woman is the one that raised the strong son. You really want Kamala when it's time for war? You really want Kamala in charge? I mean, talk to me now. Talk to me. Because what decision is she going to make? Michelle says, you need to give me an example of what a prosecutor, not talking about the prosecutor. A prosecutor ain't leading the country. See, she's no longer in that role. She's no longer in that role. And in my opinion, I think that Kamala was a good prosecutor. A lot of people say, Shank, how can you say she was a good prosecutor? All them black men she sent to prison. Yeah, but them black men, most of them black men was guilty of something. So just because she's black and those black men commit those crimes, what she was supposed to do? Say, well, okay, you black, I'm going to give you a slap on the wrist. Nah, but backtrack. Her being a prosecutor is different from her being the president. Esther says, in all honesty, I don't think other nation leaders will take us seriously. If anything, they are laughing at America. I mean, come on. Do y'all realize at one time the fear that America put in the whole world? Michelle says, so are you trying to say Trump is the better choice when it comes to war? When it comes to war. However, okay, there are some areas that I would want her to be instead of Trump. And that's what I said. I like both of them. I like Trump and I like Kamala. Some parts, man, somebody get Trump ass out of there and put Kamala in there. But when it comes to war, time for war, give me Trump. Michelle says, like they didn't laugh at Trump. Yeah, the whole world laughed at Trump, but they knew not to play with Trump. My man over there, the crazy Kung Chong man, he knew not to play with Trump. Trump called his bluff. Now, if that was Kamala, you think we would have got the same results? Positive says they've been laughing at America since Trump got elected. Positive says Biden didn't help it either. Let me get back to my clip, y'all. Let me get back to my clip.
DraftKings withdrawal tracker lets me follow my money every step of the way. It combines my two favorite things. Money.
Let's go to Trump, y'all.
From my earliest years, he taught me to be fearless. But the harmony between my parents did not last. When I was in elementary school, they split up. And it was mostly my mother who raised us. Before she could finally afford to buy a home, she rented a small apartment in the East Bay. In the Bay, you either live in the hills or the flatlands. We lived in the flats. A beautiful working class neighborhood of firefighters, nurses, and construction workers. tended their lawns with pride. My mother, she worked long hours, and like many working parents, she leaned on a trusted circle to help raise us. Mrs. Shelton, who ran the daycare below us and became a second mother. Uncle Sherman, Aunt Mary, Uncle Freddie, Auntie Chris. None of them family by blood, and all of them family by love. Family who taught us how to make gumbo, how to play chess, and sometimes even let us win. Family who loved us, believed in us, and told us we could be anything and do anything. They instilled in us the values they personified: community, faith, and the importance of treating others as you would want to be treated, with kindness, respect, and compassion. My mother was a brilliant, 5-foot-tall, brown woman with an accent. And as the eldest child, I saw how the world would sometimes treat her. But my mother never lost her cool. She was tough, courageous, a trailblazer in the fight for women's health, and she taught Maya and me a lesson that Michelle mentioned the other night. She taught us to never complain about injustice, but do something about it. Do something about it. That was my mother. And she taught us, and she also taught us, and never do anything half-assed. And that is a direct quote. A direct quote. I grew up immersed in the ideals of the civil rights movement. My parents had met at a civil rights gathering, and they made sure that we learned about civil rights leaders, including the lawyers like Thurgood Marshall and Constance Baker Motley, those who battled in the courtroom to make real the promise of America. So at a young age, I decided I wanted to do that work. I wanted to be a lawyer. And when it came time to choose the type of law I would pursue, I reflected on a pivotal moment in my life. You see, when I was in high school, I started to notice something about my best friend, Wanda. She was sad at school, and there were times she didn't want to go home. So one day I asked if everything was all right, and she confided in me that she was being sexually abused by her stepfather. And I immediately told her she had to come stay with us, and she did. This is one of the reasons I became a prosecutor, to protect people like Wanda, because I believe everyone has a right to safety, to dignity, and to justice. As a prosecutor, when I had a case, I charged it not in the name of the victim, but in the name of the people. For a simple reason. In our system of justice, a harm against any one of us is a harm against all of us. And I would often explain this to console survivors of crime, to remind them no one should be made to fight alone. We are all in this together. And every day, in the courtroom, I stood proudly before a judge, and I said 5 words: Kamala Harris for the people. And to be clear, And to be clear, my entire career, I've only had one client, the people. And so, on behalf of the people, on behalf of every American, regardless of party, race, gender, or the language your grandmother speaks, on behalf of my mother and everyone who has ever set out on their own unlikely journey, on behalf of Americans like the people I grew up with, people who work hard, chase their dreams, and look out for one another, on behalf of everyone whose story could only be written in the greatest nation on earth, I accept your nomination of the United States of America.
What are y'all thoughts? Now, one thing that I will say, when it comes time to actual do the speaking, oh, give me Kamala. Give me her all day long. You know, give me her all day long. I'll take Kamala over Trump all day long when it comes time to speak. Because Trump gonna have me laughing. Seriously. You know what I mean? He gonna have me laughing. Make sure y'all pull back up later on. I will do a Shanquilla Robinson demonstration tonight. But I want to know, what is Washington, what is they doing to help bring justice in the Shanquilla Robinson case? Will Trump or Kamala, either one of them, because we know one of them is going to become the president, but will they do anything to help Shanquilla Robinson and her family get justice? You got to put the comments in the super chat, y'all. You got to put the comments in the super chat. All right? But just click on the $ symbol and grab a super chat. But when it comes to when it's time for the election, who are you going to vote for? Drop a Trump if you're voting for Trump. Drop a Kamala if you're going to vote for Kamala. See, one thing that I learned about politics, this is what I learned about politics, y'all. Politics is like religion. Politics is a very sensitive subject. You know what I mean? And over the years, you know, I stayed up and up on it. But now, as I stated before, I'm going to be voting for the first time. And I'm beginning to sound like a broken record. But I do know many of y'all are new over here on the channel. So y'all don't know. But I'm starting to sound like a broken record. This is how I got to wanting to vote for the first time. I was doing a lot of thinking, right? And I said, you know what? There were many people during the civil rights movement. There were many people that marched, gave up their freedom. Some of them gave up their lives. You had children out there marching so that we can have the right to vote. Y'all know I do have a heart. Y'all do know I have a soft spot. So I said to myself, I'm going to vote. I'm going to vote this election. But I said, let me do my homework. So I started on TikTok. Salute to all my TikTok followers. I started on TikTok and I started raising these questions about politics and all of that. Most people said, Shank, do your homework. Make sure You know the policies. Make sure you learn the policies. Also, the local elections are just as important as the presidential elections, but do your own homework. So, started, seeing how Biden moved. Now during this time, it was a time when Trump couldn't do no right in my eyesight. I wouldn't care what Trump said. I wouldn't care what Trump done. I was straight going in on Trump. But if you know me, as always, I always have to backtrack because sometimes it's justified. Sometimes when I make my decision about a person or a situation, sometimes it's justified. Sometimes I'll be right. But then other times I'll be wrong. So I said, let me backtrack. Let me do a thorough investigation on Trump. And I started to see, damn, Trump wasn't as bad as it seemed. He was just a fool. You know what I mean? He was just a fool. Talking about when they asked him about the COVID, he said, I don't know, I guess drink some bleach. Remember when he was holding the Bible? But he was holding the Bible. He was holding the Bible upside down. A straight fool. But you know what? I say, the king, if you go back in time, even in the Bible, the king always would have the fool to come in and entertain the king. However, the fool was funny and the fool made the king and everybody else laugh, but the fool knew exactly what he was talking about and the fool knew exactly what he was doing. What was he doing, Shank? Shit. It got the fool's ass in front of the king and in front of the king's people, right? So I'm watching Trump and I said, damn, we got to remember, he's a businessman. And he's a good businessman. I know what y'all going to say. Shank, he filed for bankruptcy. Shank, his business didn't do nothing. Woo. Name a businessman that hasn't took a fall. All businessmen, now they might lie to you, but all businessmen made bad investments. That just comes with the territory. That's how they are able to learn. Bad investments. Pete, the shoes. Remember he came out with the shoes? I said, look at this fool. Pete, his mugshot. How many of y'all would have took y'all mugshot and got paid off of it? So this is me watching him. This is me looking at it. And I'm like, damn. So you got to look at his strategy. The same way I had y'all look at Kamala's strategy. They both got strategy. This is why I like Trump. This is why I like Kamala. Because let's be honest. Trump, somehow, some way, right? Out of all the bad investments that you all talk about, and I ain't denying it, but Trump took the bad investments. He took it all, and Trump became the president of the United States. Let's look at Kamala. Y'all say, Shank, she slept her way up to the top. Damn. She did a Kim Kardashian move. Kim Kardashian was smart. Kamala is smart. Say what you want to say about Kamala, but you got to give her flowers. Kamala became the first woman vice president, and she's about to become the first woman president. If you got a problem with Trump and how he moved, if you got a problem with Kamala and how she moved, you a hater. You a hater. Get your feelings out of it. Take your personal feelings for Trump, take your personal feelings for Kamala, and shove it up your ass. I'm just being 100. Look at Trump and look at Kamala and look at the moves that they made. Look at Kamala. Y'all know I speak highly of Kamala. Do y'all realize that she hold her way all the way up to become the vice president? She hold her way all the way, better terminology. She slept her way all the way up. She get ready to become the president. You can't tell her nothing. Trump, 34 felony charges. Do y'all realize that Trump is the first felon that got a chance of becoming the president? Come on, y'all. Come on. See, y'all looking at it from a personal perspective. Y'all looking at it whether or not you like this person. That's how y'all looking at it. But at the end of the day, you got to look at what they accomplished. What hoe in the chat? And there's some hoes in this house. There's some hoes in this house. But which one of you hoes made it to become the vice president of the United States? Which one of you hoes is running for the president of the United States and about to become the first woman president? See, that's how I look at it. That's how I look at it. I look at the big picture. I look at what's getting accomplished. I look at what's getting done. You ain't gotta like me. She ain't been in office yet, Jim. She ain't been in office yet. She been the vice president, but we know the vice president is really just somebody that's there in case something happens to the president. The vice president don't call no shots. The vice president don't call no shot. I'm going to say it again because some of y'all need to hear it. If you got a problem with Trump and his accomplishments, if you got a problem with Kamala and her accomplishments, you're just a hater. And I've done a demonstration. Some of y'all don't like nothing. Some of y'all don't even like your own asses. Seriously. Seriously. Am I lying? Am I lying? You right there. You don't like your own self. So I know if you don't like your own self, I know you ain't going to like Trump. I know you ain't going to like Kamala. Come on, man. I'm learning from both of them. Yes, I am. All right. Now, we're going to go, and I want y'all to just hear this. See, and this is what I was saying when it came to Kamala, for Kamala not to do. Don't try to make Trump look bad. I was told a long time ago, all you got to do is sit the clean glass. If you want to show people that the glass is dirty, just sit a clean glass beside it. And the people going to choose. The people going to see which glass is dirty and which glass is clean. Y'all trying to downplay Trump. Y'all bringing out all this stuff that happened with Trump in the past. That was his past. That was his past. But I see you, Lisa. I see you, Lisa. But let's go to Reverend Al Sharpton. Now peep the move. New York Central Park 5 exonerated. Now, how many of y'all, and y'all better be honest, how many of y'all like Al Sharpton? Not many of y'all like Al Sharpton. But because Al Sharpton is talking ish about Trump, somebody that y'all don't like, Al Sharpton is y'all man. But let's listen to Al Sharpton. And this is what I say. Now what they're doing is they're playing Trump's game. They're playing Trump's game. Because if they would just stick to the policies, if they would just stick to what they do, then they would be all right. But let's listen to Al Sharpton, y'all. And y'all tell me what y'all think.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Positive Vibe says Al Sharpton got big ears. He got elephant ears. Candace says, now I like this channel, but I need to know if you're not calling a woman a hoe. Candace, all women are not hoes. I would never call all women hoes. However, Candace, if a woman is a hoe, then I ain't got no problem with calling a hoe a hoe. Let me backtrack. All women are not hoes, but some women are hoes. The women that aren't hoes, I would never call you a hoe, baby. But the women that are hoes, a hoe is a hoe. Come on, y'all, let's go.
Good evening. I stand before you as the president of National Action Network. We do not endorse candidates, but we report where candidates stand on criminal justice, economic empowerment, health equity, and other issues. On one side of this race is Donald Trump, a fellow New Yorker I've known for 40 years. Only once in that time, did he take a position on racial issues.
Let me backtrack because I know we got a lot of newbies that's in here. I never called Kamala a hoe. I never called Kamala a hoe. I don't think she's a hoe. But people tried to throw dirt on her name by saying that she slept her way to the top. But I've never called her a hoe. But if y'all hang around long enough, Michelle and the other newbies, if y'all hang around long enough, y'all will see that people will come in the chat and they will call Kamala a hoe and they will say that she slept her way to the top. But I don't call her a hoe.
He spent a small fortune on full-page ads calling for the execution of 5 innocent.
And if she is a hoe, she's a smart hoe. Let's just say that. But nah, I ain't call her a hoe.
Young teenagers. Well, I'm gonna bring them out in a minute, and you'll hear from them tonight. Because they were not executed, they're here to continue to fight.
Before she was.
Now, them damn commercials. Now let me come to the chat. Let me see what y'all saying. Let me see what y'all saying. But for future reference, if you have a comment for me to read, please purchase a super chat. Just click on the $ symbol and purchase a super chat. When you purchase the super chat, it's going to let you type in whatever comment you want. Any questions that you may have, because I can't read all of the comments. I cannot read all of the comments. So if you have a comment that you would like for me to read, if you got a question for you, if you would like for me to answer, put it in a super chat. Come on, y'all. Give me some comments real quick. Any comments? I'll take a few comments. Come on. I just try to keep it real over here. Like, I try not to sugarcoat stuff, and I try to call a spade a spade. I'll say it again. I like both of them. I like Kamala. I like Trump. I like them both. And I'm just waiting on the presidential election. The presidential election is going to tell me who is going to get my vote. I don't care if your ass don't like Trump. I don't care if your ass don't like Kamala. My ass like them both. Texas Repo says, why vote for Harris? Give me 5 reasons. One reason that I like Harris, she's confident. She has confidence. I like her confident. Another reason why I like her, because I like the way she sticks to the policies. She's always talking about the policies. Also, I think as a prosecutor, I think that she done a good job as a prosecutor. That's 3 reasons. The 4th reason is her her fight for women. You know, she's always speaking about the abortions. She's always speaking about doing for women. Those are 4. The 5th one that I like about her, I like that she was the vice president. So she's been around. So even though, in my opinion, she may not have been able to call the shots, but those 4 years that she was vice president, those 4 years gave her an opportunity to see how things are being ran. So those are my 5. So if anybody else would like to know my reasons for wanting to vote for Harris, please backtrack to this demonstration right here, y'all. Please. But as I stated, I like both of them. Is that fair? Now, I didn't like Biden. I'm being 100 with y'all. I didn't like Biden. I didn't. But I like Harris. I like Trump. And I've done a demonstration, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I went into details. The good, the bad, and the ugly about both of them. They both bring good to the table. Both of them. But they got some bad and ugly with them. Fair? Texas says she was the border Caesar and failed horribly. I mean, but here's my thing. Here's my thing, y'all. Let's listen up. Do you really think, even if Trump doesn't, Robert Kennedy could become the president? Do y'all really think he's going to do everything that's superb? Do y'all think that Robert Kennedy would make an excellent president? Y'all don't think he's going to make a mistake? Come on, come on. And we're so far in our feelings. We're so deep in our feelings. It's like being in a relationship. You can be in a relationship with somebody and you so deep into your feelings about this person that you try to smother this person. You don't want this person to go nowhere. You don't want this person to do nothing. You don't want this person to speak to nobody because you're so deep into your feelings. You don't want to share that man or woman with nobody. Get out your feelings. And if you don't know how to get out your feelings, I'll tell you how to get out your feelings. Ride it neutral. Ride it neutral. Keep an open mind. Jim says, but literally, no one voted for her. Come on, Jim. 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 Come on. Trump won his party's nomination. Texas Repo says, I live near the border. Where do you live? How's crime in your area? My son was attacked. Sorry that your son was attacked. Sorry that your son was attacked. I live in the Carolinas. I'm in the Carolinas. Michelle says she is intelligent. Is he? Good point. And I said that. I said that when it comes to the intelligent part and everything. Now, I do think Trump is intelligent. He doesn't display it. Let me just say that. I think he's intelligent. He just doesn't display it. But you're right, Michelle. I agree. She is intelligent, is he. She knows the Constitution. He has proven he doesn't. She knows our laws. He breaks them. That's true. That's true, Michelle. That's the good. That's the bad. That's the ugly. You can't get around it. Can't. And that's why I like them both. Because they both bring good, bad, and ugly. Salute Denithia. Denithia says, Kamala hoes. What? Help me understand that, Denithia. Help me understand that. What you mean by Kamala hoes. Like I said, people were always mentioning to me, and y'all probably have run across a few of them, but Shank, Kamala slept her way to the top. Shank, Kamala is a whore. Shank, Kamala is this. Denithia says Kamala has street smarts, book smarts, and common sense. She's very sharp. She's very sharp. Say what you want to say about her. She's sharp. She know her ish. She know her ish. And that's what I would like for her to stick to. Don't. And that's why we're going to go to her getting on Trump. She don't need to do that, in my opinion. In my opinion. I don't think Kamala needs to attack Trump. I really don't. I think if Kamala stay in her own lane and just do her, I think Kamala will be fine. Don't try to attack Trump. Because when you try to attack Trump, that's what Trump does. So you ain't doing nothing but giving Trump food. You giving them food by attacking them. But let's check her out, y'all, for a few.
Harris told her personal story, including the fact that she has an Indian mother, a Jamaican father, a blended family, a reflection of America today.
My mother was a brilliant, 5-foot-tall, brown woman with an accent. She taught us to never complain about injustice, but do something about it. Do something about it. She also taught us, and never do anything half-assed. And that is a direct quote. When I was in high school, I started to notice something about my best friend Wanda. She confided in me that she was being sexually abused by her stepfather. This is one of the reasons I became a prosecutor. And to be clear, my entire career, I've only had one client, the people. I will be a president who unites us around our highest aspirations. We will create what I call an opportunity economy, an opportunity economy where everyone has the chance to compete and a chance to succeed. We can create an earned pathway to citizenship and secure our border.
Most striking, her most detailed description yet of a hawkish foreign policy. This a deliberate appeal to independent and swing voters, not the Democratic base.
As Commander-in-Chief, I will ensure America always has the strongest, most lethal fighting force in the world, and I will always honor and never disparage their service and their sacrifice. As president, I will stand strong with Ukraine and our NATO allies. I will not cozy up to tyrants and dictators like Kim Jong-un who are rooting for Trump. I know where I stand and I know where the United States belongs. So let's get out there. Let's fight for it. Let's get out there. Let's vote for it. And together, let us write the next great chapter in the most extraordinary story ever told. Thank you.
The reimagined party convention energizing the crowd by bringing in hundreds of influencers, hip-hop DJs, country stars like the Chicks. And ending it all with an epic balloon drop. But we begin back in Chicago the day after with NBC News Washington correspondent Yamiche Alcindor and Washington Post White House reporter Tyler Pager. So thanks to both of you. Yamiche, you're reporting throughout extraordinary. Talk about all these moments. There was a moment last night when Harris's great nieces taught the audience with a deliberate, dig at Donald Trump mispronouncing her name, how to pronounce her first name. One of the girls later watching Harris speak in this new viral photo. Harris is the first woman of color to accept a major party nomination. But unlike Hillary Clinton 8 years ago, Harris did not mention that history. Should she be elected? She's making this a campaign about the voters. Yamiche?
That's right. She did not lean into the history in terms of explicitly talking about the fact that she would be the first black woman, first South Asian woman to become president. But what she did do was say that her mother, of course, someone who immigrated from India, that her mother said, don't let people tell you who you are, show them who you are. And over again in that speech, she talked about the fact that her family is a family that is going to be making her history making. The idea that her mother was not just someone who immigrated from India, but also as someone who saved for decades to buy a home, that her father was someone who immigrated from Jamaica and taught her that she should just run. So even in her sort of talking about the arc of her life and how it brought her to being interested in being a prosecutor and how it brought her to being interested in being a president for all people, she was showing America, this is my story. It's a blended family with different races, different genders, but also I am someone who's going to embody being a president for all people. So in talking to people, sources that were familiar with the speech, they told me that they really wanted to make sure that they told Americans that she earned this nomination, that she was qualified to be president, and that yes, she is a black woman, but that she didn't get this nomination because she was black or because she was a woman. So she was really trying to thread a fine line there, while also just leading into the fact that if you look at her great nieces who were telling people, teaching the crowd there how to say Kamala, so her first name, of course, there was all of that in there, and all of the sort of conversation was around that, but she didn't lean into it explicitly because she didn't have to. You can look and see that she's making history. Andrea?
And she also dug in on reproductive rights, such an important issue for the Democrats, certainly post-Dobbs, slamming Donald Trump. Take a look at this.
He is not done. As a part of his agenda, he and his allies would limit access to birth control, ban medication abortion, and enact a nationwide abortion ban with or without Congress. And get this, he plans to create a national anti-abortion coordinator and force states to report on women's miscarriages and abortions. Simply put, they are out of their minds.
So, Yamiche, how much of this campaign is going to be focused on protecting abortion rights, reproductive rights?
Well, the campaign is built on the idea that they are pushing her and Vice President Harris, as well as Governor Tim Walz, are pushing for American freedoms, and abortion access is top among those freedoms that they want to restore for women across this country. And of course, long before she was the top of the Democratic ticket, she was the most prominent voice in the Biden administration on this issue. She traveled, had multiple speaking engagements. Multiple times. She was, of course, the first vice president or president to visit an abortion clinic. When she did that, it was very, very big news. So she's someone who feels comfortable on this topic. And Democrats see this also as an animating topic, that this will be something that will motivate people to go to the polls, because we've seen over and over again when abortion is on the ballot, the people who are in favor of abortion access and abortion rights, they've won each and every time. If you look at the midterms in 2022, Democrats were able to stave off that red wave because women came out, and men too, came out and said they wanted to vote to make sure that the states that had that on the ballot, that they could restore their access and enshrine their access to abortion in their state constitution. So this is definitely going to be a topic that's going to be a priority for this campaign. And I should say, I interviewed the second gentleman, Deb Emhoff, and he has also been talking about the fact that men have a critical role to play in advocating for abortion access. So it's not going to just be the vice president, it's going to be also the men on the ticket talking about that, and of course her spouse, who would be the first gentleman if he were elected. So it's going to be a big topic for sure. And it's of course interesting to see former President Trump saying he would be a remarkable president for women's reproductive rights, because of course he was the one who appointed the Supreme Court justices who then.
All right, y'all. Now, I know I have some subscribers. I know all my moderators know about the Shanquilla Robinson case, but let's just switch lanes for a few and let's talk about what's going on with the Shanquilla Robinson case. And once again, it'll be either 9 o'clock this evening or 10 o'clock this evening. I will do a Shanquilla Robinson latest update. But I want to ask you all right? Do you think if Trump was the president, do you think Shanquilla would have got justice by now? Drop a one. Drop a one. If you think if Trump was in office, Trump would have made sure Shanquilla got justice. For all those, drop a one. Drop a two if you think Trump wouldn't have did nothing. Drop a one if you think Trump would have made sure Dejanay was extradited back to Mexico. Drop a two or either say yes or no. Okay, Zaina, salute Zaina. Okay, now for those that are not familiar with the Shanquilla Robinson case, Shanquilla Robinson is the young lady from Charlotte, North Carolina that went to Mexico with some so-called friends. She ended up losing her life in Mexico. There's a video of one of the so-called friends attacking Shanquilla. They tried, the frenemies, they tried to dress it up as alcohol poison. However, Shanquilla's family, the father, the mother, and the sister didn't believe it, and they wanted an autopsy. Another autopsy was done, and it was determined that Shanquilla actually lost her life due to atlas luxation. All right? Now, there's a warrant. There's a warrant for the alleged person that's in this video that's attacking Shanquilla. Mexico has a warrant for her. The DOJ never prioritized the warrant. So for all those that's new to the case, that's a quick summary. But for the remaining of you all that know the case like the back of your hands, now I'm going to ask y'all. When Kamala gets into office, or if she gets into office, do you feel as though that should be something that should be a priority of Kamala? She's always talking about women's rights. She's always talking about justice for women. She's always campaigning for women. You have a young lady, a woman, that lost her life in Mexico 2 years ago. There's a warrant. There's a warrant that the DOJ hasn't prioritized yet. You mean to tell me Kamala ain't gonna fight for this woman? What are y'all thoughts? Denithia, salute Nola. I see you, Nola. Salute Sonia. I see y'all. Denithia says Trump would have mauled Mexico like a mad dog, foaming at the mouth. Texas says Trump doesn't play when it comes to foreign policies. Kamala would fold like a deck of cards. It's easy to see. My opinion, Trump, definitely. Trump. Mexico got a warrant. DOJ, that warrant would have been prioritized. Say what you want to say about Trump. Say what you want to say about Kamala. But you gotta look at the things that they both got done. Look at all the men, look at all the prisoners that Trump pardoned. He gave pardons to those prisoners. But let me guess. That don't count for nothing, right? And this is why I'm telling y'all, Trump and Kamala both has the good, the bad, and the ugly. You can't sit up here and tell me Trump ain't do nothing right. Come on, y'all. Come on. Positive says definitely should be done. Lisette says, I don't think Kamala even knows this case. I remember when Trump got one of those Bell brothers and the NBA out of trouble, and their idiot father didn't even thank him. That's facts. That's facts. That's facts, Lizette. Trump made some things happen. Now, for those that know the Shanquilla Robinson case, for those that's been around, it's nothing more than myself, along with the rest of us, along with Shanquilla's family. It's nothing more than we want but justice. We stayed up all night for like a year straight. And shout out to the whole Rock Squad family. Shout out to all of the Rock Squad members that was holding it down on the panel. Shout out to all of the Rock Squad moderators. Shout out to all of the Rock Squad members that was in the chat. I mean, you all remember, we were all-nighters. We were going 8 and 10 hours. Me and Miss Parker, along with some other Rock Squad members, went to the rally in D.C. Me and Miss Parker went to the Pink Envelope March. Me and Miss Parker was at different events here in Charlotte. We had a meet and greet where we done a balloon release last year. And make sure y'all are following me on Instagram because we're getting prepared for this year's meet and greet. We will be doing a Shanquilla Robinson balloon release again. So make sure you all are following me on Instagram and make sure I invite y'all and add y'all into the Rock Squad group chat on IG because we will be giving out information in that IG group. So let's talk politics. What is being done about getting justice for Shanquilla Robinson? It's a quick fix. The DOJ has to make the warrant. The DOJ has to prioritize the warrant so the extradition process can start. You all that's talking Trump and talking Kamala, what's going on? Positive Vibe says came up with good conclusions. 80s Baby says Kamala would have had the situation handled by now and all Cabo 6 locked up for at least 20 years. Zena says, yes, we did. Michelle says the case has to be brought up for her help. Do you think Trump even knew who Ball was until someone told him and asked for help? And that's correct, Michelle. Glad that you mentioned that. Me, Miss Parker, along with some other Rock Squad members, helped march, went to the rally in D.C. Ben Crump was there. Tamika Mallory was there. Ben Chavis was there. My son was there. Sue Ann Robinson was there. Andre the Advocate. We were in D.C. Her family met with the representative for the DOJ, Mr. Benjamin. And Mr. Benjamin assured, and this was last March, Mr. Benjamin assured the family that the warrant getting prioritized will not get swept up under the rug. And if y'all are not familiar with the Shanquilla Robinson case, and even if y'all are, make sure y'all pull back up tonight at 9 p.m. And I will be doing a Shanquilla Robinson demonstration. I'm not going to hold y'all that much longer. Give me a few minutes, and then I'm going to let y'all get out of here because I got to prepare for later on.
Kennedy Jr. endorsed Donald Trump for the presidency.
Stein's woke agenda: defund the police, weaken sentences for violent criminals.
80s baby says, is there any new information regarding the case? We'll go over it later on tonight, 80s baby. We'll go over it later on tonight.
Trump was shot and survived, and by 2 centimeters our country lived. We got a new candidate, and maybe most remarkable of all,
Appreciate that, Denethia. Appreciate that, Denethia.
Kennedy has endorsed a Republican for the presidency of the United States. And you better believe they're scared. All the media, they're scared because they're supposed to have a monopolistic control. You saw the DNC, watch us and obey. Watch us and obey. We're a movement of free thinkers. We don't agree on everything. We have differences of opinions. That's why our movement is going to win. In the Democrat Party, they say disagreement is not allowed. They don't believe in free speech. They don't believe in the free discourse of ideas. I think it's a wonderful thing that we could say we might disagree on the small stuff, but we agree on the big stuff. We agree that we should prioritize American citizens over foreigners. We agree that it is a constitutional right that you should be able to speak, that the government should not be able to spy on us without a warrant. We agree that every human being is made in the image of God and deserves protection. We agree in your right to bear arms. We agree that the Founding Fathers were divinely inspired when they wrote the United States Constitution. The small stuff we can disagree on, but the differences are dramatic. And that is why we need to extend an olive branch. The Democrats in your life, the Democrats that still have a little bit of a free thinking. Now, I'm not talking about the Democrats that got the 9th booster shot and wore a mask while they showered. I'm not talking about those Democrats. I just spent a couple days with those Democrats in Chicago. They were bragging about how many booster shots they got while they were waiting in line. I'm not exaggerating. I'm talking about the Democrat right now that is working as an Uber driver. I'm talking about the registered Democrat that is working with their hands to serve you food, and they cannot afford groceries. And maybe the only interaction that they will have with our movement is when you say, how you doing? Hey, I can barely get by. I can barely get by. And you should say, you know what? If you vote for Donald Trump, you're actually not going to be taxed on your tips.
Salute, Aquila. Salute, Aquila. Appreciate you for pulling up. Salute, Aquila.
This movement is growing and ascending because we all agree on the big stuff. We agree that the people are the sovereign in this country. And we've seen in the last 30 years the uniparty on full display. You know where the wealthiest counties in America are? They're all around Washington, D.C. 8 out of 10 of the wealthiest counties in America. So basically what they do is they tax you into oblivion. They make everything more expensive, and inflation is a tax, by the way. They take all of that money so that they can get richer and wealthier around the kingdom of Washington, D.C. And what do they produce? All they produce is more regulations, rules, and customs, and wars that put you in more jeopardy. A $6 trillion budget while we have to close down our factories. And they thought they could get away with it. And this is why they fear the man we are here to support today. Because it's more than just that he supports the right things. It's that he had the brilliant and uniquely American idea to bring all of you in the room where the deals are negotiated, where you get a seat at the table. And they hate that. They hate.
Drop a 1 if y'all agree with him. Drop a 1 if y'all agree with him. Drop a 2 if you disagree. I'm only going to hold y'all for a few more minutes. Let me give my closing statements. Once again, there's going to definitely be a new president. It's going to either be Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. Love them or hate them. You're going to have to definitely be prepared for one of them becoming the new president. Change is coming. We know if Kamala becomes the president, she's a woman. Do she or is she capable of doing a good job? Sure. I think that Kamala will do a good job. My only concern with Kamala is if it comes down to war, how will she handle it? My only concern with Trump, if Trump becomes president, is he going to stay focused on doing the job and stay away from the theatrics? I done laughed Trump so much I can't laugh no more. That's my standpoint on it. Is Kamala going to be able to handle it if it comes down to war? And is Trump going to stop acting like a goddamn fool? I appreciate everybody for pulling up. Make sure y'all hit the like button. If you see the 3 dots, hit the 3 dots and it will allow you to hit the like button. Let's help get me back into the YouTube algorithm. If you would like to support the channel, you can support the channel by purchasing a membership. Some of my demonstrations are on members only. So if you have a membership, if you purchase a membership, you'll have access to all of my demonstrations. Or you could purchase a super sticker or a super chat. If you want me to read your comment, I read all super chats. So that way, if you got something that you want to get across to me, please get a super chat. I read all super chats. Another way you can support the channel is my Cash App is $ERICMCINT. If you would like to bless the Cash App, that's my Cash App. I appreciate everybody for pulling up, and I will see everybody back at 9 p.m. Salute everybody.